We're here with the 13th annual Prose Poetry Party from Three Rooms Press. I'm Peter Karloffis.
I'm Cat George.
That's us. We're right
Yay.
here. We're in our studio on Bleecker Street, and we've got all these fine, lovely authors and poets and whomever. They're with our press, and we're so honored to have them join us. There's Chris has joined us too. So happy. We'll check in on your sound, Chris, to make sure you're okay before we move into the first reader. And everything, all we're waiting for is Amanda, and I think she's coming late. So we've got everybody here with us. And sadly, Jane LeCroy is not feeling well, who's a big star every year in our Prose Poetry Party. One time we snuck her in here live and nobody knew it, and we put her on live right here. So we've been doing this virtually since the pandemic, and we haven't really gone back to doing it live because it works really well, and it's nice to include everybody from around the country and all our new authors. For books coming out soon.
And in fact, today, in addition to authors we have previously published, we have forthcoming authors. We have authors from some of our books that are coming out in spring and in fall of next year, including
Nancy Kurshan, Levitating the Pentagon. Look at that.
And
that's coming out. And we've got, of course, Aram Saroyan is here to read as well. Before I forget, wait till you hear the review of that book that just came out, and Nancy's book. And we have this one as well, The Immortal Journeys of Isabel Eberhard by Hedi Jawad. He's going to be, he's not with us, he's in Tunisia right now, and he couldn't join us today. But we do have these three books represented, and Nancy and Aram will be reading from them. Plus, we also have as our first reader, I'll be introducing her soon, Angelica Page, the daughter of Geraldine Page, and she's written a biographical memoir of her mother and herself. So that'll be coming out in the fall. So I think it's the first time we've had someone so far ahead in our schedule appear with us in the winter
classic.
The Winter Classic Prose Poetry Party. 13 years we've been doing this.
Right, but one thing to remember, if you're watching live on Facebook, this is so exciting. You can win one of these fabulous books.
Every reader that reads afterwards, we're going to ask you to just write a comment. And if you write a comment, you'll win one of these books, Blood and Lightning, Gilded Butterfly Effect. We have Streetwhys. We have Peace, Love, and Hate. We have our MAINTENANT Dada Journal from this year, number 19.
A $30 value.
$30 value. That's the one you want to win.
God.
People are talking. Amanda will be along soon. 50th anniversary fiction of the end of the Vietnam War. And also My Vietnam, Your Vietnam. A wonderful, and Lives of a Toy Maker.
Which is
so Kellyanne Jacobson's not with us tonight.
A reimagining of Pinocchio.
LGBTQ YA.
Right.
So we've got a lot of books to give away right here
so
at the
excited to
season.
See everybody watching on Facebook. Shall we go ahead and get started with our first reader? Oh, you've got a poem.
Me?
Go ahead.
What about you?
Well, you got one to start.
I got a short one.
Okay.
It's called Independence Day, which coming up will be 250 years, and you're going to put this clown on a coin. What kind of life are we living? Except we are. We're publishing all these beautiful books, and that's the kind of life we are living, and we're going to continue to add to that side of the coin, the creative side. But right here, Independence Day, let's look forward to our books and not that, but Independence Day, when the Cat in the Hat shot the Grinch who stole Christmas, we knew it was over. This country of ours brought birthers extolling we live on TV. Ignoring their lies became what we are.
Woo! All right. It's time to rock and roll.
All right.
With creation.
Are you going to read one?
No, not right
Okay,
now.
we're going to bring up Angelica Page. Please join us, Angelica. Take your mute off, and you'll be fine.
Okay.
Not yet. You'll get it. Nope. There you go. Yay! Now you're in Mexico, right?
Yep.
That's so exciting. we're here in New York. She's in Mexico. We're hanging out in a month ago here in New York, right? Less than a month.
Yeah, I was in for part of November.
You were, and you did some wonderful shows, recreating your mom, Geraldine Page, 8-time Academy Award, 18 Academy Award nomination, 8, and finally a winner for Trip to Bountiful. What a wonderful, small, beautiful film
And
that was
Angelica
untouched by Hollywood.
has written an incredible biography memoir of her and Geraldine Page, her Academy Award winning mother, and I can't wait
This
to
will be
have
out
it out
in October
Right.
of 26.
Yeah.
And right now
2026.
we're working on it. We're working on photos. We're working on the cover. We've got the book in pretty good shape, but there may be a little more work. But I'm really pleased with this book, and I'm really excited to have it come out on our press in October. And I'm excited to get the photos all in line.
I'm getting them together, and I'm creating another folder for you.
Okay.
All right.
Wonderful. And I'm going to let you, we're going to let you take it away and give us some of A Delicious Life.
Right.
So I'm going to read the beginning, the preface, and the prologue. And the prologue. I'm not going to read the whole prologue, but there's a break, and I'll end there. It's like a natural break, so I don't end up being like 12 minutes or something. A Delicious Life, growing up with Geraldine Page. For all artists, past, present, and future, may we continue to pass the torch. If I can only recount the story of my life, right out of my body, flames will grow through me. But what matters most is how well you walk through the fire. Charles Bukowski. Preface. Both my parents have now left this mortal coil, so I'm finally prepared to tell this tale of growing up as the only daughter of the late, great Geraldine Page. I'd avoided it for years as it was simply too painful. I'd blocked so much out just to survive. And let's face it, my father, Rip Torn, was still alive. How could I be honest enough without invading his privacy and incurring his wrath? Just before my mother passed away in 1987, she had begun an autobiography, but then realized the ticking clock would not allow her enough time to finish it. She wanted to find someone to tell her story, to illuminate a path for future generations of artists, to share with others how she did it. But she needed someone who knew the truth, and someone who would tell the truth. Then, just before her death, her diaries and unfinished autobiography went missing, along with her Oscar. She had given her most precious things to, quote, someone for safekeeping. But to who? No one seemed to know. Certainly not my father, whom she feared would throw her belongings out on the street once she became too weak to retrieve them. It's unfathomable to me that my mother has not had one book published about her. But perhaps it was always meant for me to be the literary weaver of this mythical journey. This is not a typical biography, but a cross-section of my own lush memories fused with all the bits of information I've gathered throughout my life on and around the subject. From outside sources and from the horse's mouth. Mom was a great storyteller. My offering is simply my witnessing and that autoptic recounting to you, the reader, honestly, brutally, and without restraint. Prologue. I felt my mother haunting me. This had been going on for quite some time, and she was everywhere, and she wouldn't leave me alone. So I finally gave in on what would have been her 87th birthday, November 22nd, 2011, 11/22/11. 11/22, the day Kennedy was shot and killed. She was pregnant with me on the day of that public murder. It was 1963. She had been pregnant before, but terminated. I was the first child she decided to keep. She was almost 40 years old, and in the early 1960s, having a baby that late in life was a bit of a scandal. More than one scandal that Geraldine Page would perpetuate, or rather that would be perpetuated and she would be party to. We had just been to Hyannisport, my mother with me in the womb, to visit her friends John and Jackie. The president and first lady had invited her to their compound to meet, where they asked her to spearhead their national theater. She first met the keepers of Camelot while attending a White House dinner the year before, seated at the president's table directly across from JFK. She was invited without a +1, so therefore unable to invite my father. No doubt it was a bone of contention. Those attending were among America's greatest living authors, playwrights, actors, and artists to honor André Malraux, French Minister of Cultural Affairs. The date was May 11th, 1962. The time was 8 p.m. and the dress code black tie. Also seated at the table was Irwin Shaw, Agnes DeMille, Charles Lindbergh, Edmund Wilson, Andrew Wyeth, and Madame Malraux. I wish my mother could be here, I've read, Jerry confided to playwright Tennessee Williams at the gala. I wish all our mothers could be, he reportedly whispered back. The tables were decorated with lilies of the valley, baby's breath, red and white tulips, and blue iris. The dinner included soup with double creme, a dab of caviar, and since it was Friday with a Catholic president in the White House, it was followed by lobster and fish. My mother was so besotted with the event, she hand-penned a 3-page thank you note to Jackie with her signature brown felt tipped flare pen. The original letter hangs framed in the John F. Kennedy Library in Washington. Dear First Lady, I hope you are First Lady for the next 300 years at least. I've been trying to write you ever since I experienced the honor of my life, being present at your unforgettable dinner for Monsieur and Madame Malraux. I may never recover. I've tried to write a dignified expression of my gratitude, and I invariably fall into uncontrollable gushing, and have finally decided to gush and be damned. You see, it's like a fairy tale from my childhood come true. All the legends of sleeping princesses awakened, ugly ducklings turning into swans, beasts into princes. All the life-renewing myths are brought to mind by the stirring and awakening and coming to life all over the country and all over the world that is taking place because you too are who you are. You remind us all who we can be, and the reestablishing of values is bringing us all to life again. I had a sensation at your party of being a single blossom in a huge field of flowers, all basking in the sun so we could hold up our heads and be beautiful. With profound and all-embracing gratitude, Geraldine Page. P.S. After the president's joke about the White House becoming the artist eating place, and you never invited out in return, I must admit, which surely must be the 168th invitation back. My place is very small, and I'm the cook, but I cook deliciously. You must come and let me feed you just once. It's ridiculous. It could never happen, but you see, you make us believe in miracles. At the end of the evening, in the Blue Room, the First Lady, brilliant in a pink strapless Dior, spoke in fluent French with Malraux, who promised Jacqueline Kennedy that he would send her France's most famous cultural treasure, the Mona Lisa, to be displayed at the National Gallery in Washington. In September of that year, my mother was asked to present the plans for what would be the Kennedy Center during an unveiling ceremony at the Elms Mansion in Newport, Rhode Island. The First Lady and Joanne Woodward sat in the front row. Then suddenly, on my mother's 39th birthday, her dream, her friend, our nation was shattered in one paralyzing moment on 11/22. And we lived on 22nd Street. Master Builder numbers 11, 22, 11 on 22. That's it.
Thank you so much. Oh my
moving.
God. It's so moving.
Thank you. We're so looking forward to this book coming out. I'm sure everybody is. And
that was so much fun researching that dinner.
The menu?
I found out. I didn't know that stuff before, and I went to the museum, to the library, and they really helped me quite a bit with photographs and the menu and what was going on that night. So it was really fun to go back in time to that really incredible event.
It is.
That's so great.
And everybody who heard this today is in the same place as you when you first saw it. You really carried it on beautifully. Thank you.
Thank you.
And your mom, when she did the John Wayne movie, what was it?
Hondo.
Hondo. 1953. All of a sudden, your mom, in her first movie, gets nominated for an Academy Award, and John Wayne doesn't. And he says, "Who is this person?" and puts her in the blacklist. Basically, his strength, made that happen.
Yeah, it was kind of it was a layering of different things that happened.
Yes, but he didn't help.
But she didn't work again in Hollywood for 7 years after.
Exactly, but with that, she got Summer and Smoke on stage where she belonged and became an ultimate stage a Broadway star. So he didn't stop her; nobody did.
And then she ended up getting 8 Oscar nominations.
That's correct.
Yeah, she was really good about taking her time and finding other ways to work and to honor her that didn't rely on too many other people. So that's a great lesson for all of us. I think.
Well, we are honored to have you with us on Three Runs Press, and we can't wait
really
to
excited.
have this book.
I'm happy to be part of this.
All right.
Especially on this day when there's been a suggestion that the name of the Kennedy Center is going to be changing. And
I think today was the announcement that I think they already agreed to.
Well, we won't change it. We
won't change it. So
it'll be changed back. Don't worry. We're going to change it back.
All right. Well, thank you so
much.
Thank
you, Angelica. We'll see you. And if you have to go, it's so good to see you. All right. Angelica Page, thank you.
All right.
And we'll have her book, Delicious Life, coming out in October. And we have a book to give away. This is the Immortal Journeys of Isabel Eberhard, another unbelievable woman who lived in the early part of the 20th century and lived as a man, a Sufi man in Algeria at the time. Just an incredible story here.
They said she's the illegitimate daughter of Rimbaud and one of Patti Smith's favorites too. This is a brand new biography.
So we're going to give this book away now to whom?
Well, the most comments are from Francine.
Francine Witt! I think we have your address, Francine, since we mailed you enough books, Dada books. But you can send it to us here on the chat box, and you will be mailed the Immortal Journeys of Isabel Eberhard. Of course, this is an ARC, but it's still a winner to read.
Yay! She is so excited.
All right.
Okay. So, and don't worry, we have 11 more fabulous prizes to give out. So please stick around, and remember, what we're looking for is any comments on your Facebook, the Facebook feed there. So, if you can't comment on Facebook, you can always comment on the chat.
Anywhere on the chat box, on the Facebook, anything.
So, who
you're going to read next? Something?
Oh, I'll read a poem.
You'll read something, and then
okay.
I think we got Christopher Chambers out there. Where's this book? So we'll have him up after Cat.
Okay. Here's one that's called The Lucky Ones. The lucky ones wave their hands, and just like that, a meme coin appears, and they make $5 million overnight. The lucky ones say anyone can be like them if they were less lazy, less stupid, less woke, less liberal. The lucky ones say liberals are liars who steal money from hardworking Americans to fund their extravagant lifestyles. The lucky ones are relieved that they are in power, and they make sure they will stay in power. The lucky ones are laughing at us, unlucky ones, with our hands in our pockets, with their army in our cities, their dicks in our children. They don't hate us, they need us to agree that they are lucky and not liars, thieves, murderers, and destroyers of our country. But we'll always remember who they really are, and that is why one day they will be very unlucky indeed.
One day, let's add the word soon. Soon.
Yeah.
We're here at the Prose Poetry Party 13, Three Rooms Press, and we're going to bring up our next author, who has written three of these Dickie Cornish mysteries. Streetwhys is the last one, came out in April. So we're gonna. Where's Christopher? We haven't heard you yet. Hopefully the sound and the video's working. Are you there?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, bring him up.
Yeah.
You're looking good. Let's get you up here with us.
Okay.
Yeah, so you can hear me, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, there he is.
Hey.
So nice to see you.
Thank you. It was really cool to hear Angelica Page, because my mother's New York accent was just like her mother's in The Pope of Greenwich Village.
All right.
That was some role. She stole that movie.
Yeah.
You know, Mickey Rourke brought the guy to life, but she just stole that movie.
Oh yeah. But
and she was nominated for that Academy Award Supporting Actress.
Well, I kind of put myself in there, and I can hear her say, "My Christopher was as tough as a bar of iron, and he didn't get that way from his father." that's my Geraldine Page.
It's not bad.
That's good. All right. So Christopher Chambers is the author of the Dickie Cornish series, which the latest book is Streetwhys. Dickie Cornish. Tell us about Dickie Cornish.
We're going to turn it over to you.
Yeah,
go ahead.
He's a unhoused guy. He was an addict, a drunk. Turned out when he was in college by somebody who supposedly was his girlfriend, and spent 25 years on the street, became a private detective quite by accident, quite by the hand of a very unscrupulous person, and has been dealing with people like that in his new career as a private investigator. You know, kind of a loner and a crusader, and you know, a crusader that did not start out that way, but just finds himself in that position. And a lot of times he doesn't want to be in that position, but things just seem to find him. And that's what makes him a hero. And I'm really proud of the character. And I just read something with my heroes and mentors, George Pelecanos and Jim Grady, who wrote 6 Days of the Condor, which became 3 Days of the Condor, at a noir at the bar, and they took turns actually reading some of my stuff. So that was really, really just you know, I mean, I was ready to cry. But so that was pretty cool. It was a little weird having Jim Grady read from Scavenger, though, which was written in second person with a drug-addled narrative, but he managed to get through it. So I was pretty happy with that. And of course, with George Pelecanos, you know, with everything he's doing with HBO and everything, was really cool. So that's just what I've been up to. What I'm going to read for you now is a thing called The Hot Dog Man, which is an excerpt from something I've been working on, which is another Dickie Cornish story called Bad Samaritan. And it's about the hot dog man. And it's kind of goes like this. My first mind was to do what I used to do best. Dig a hole, crawl in, pull the dirt over my head, and I'm safe. Because now this John stinks worse than Croc's sit-down wind on a day as hot and joyless as this one. But Croc's right. Who am I kidding? Too many motherfuckers out there with shovels, including Uncle Sam, so I got no choice. Find Terry, and I can't find Terry without the hot dog man, so off to the hot dog man I go. And here I am on the C-44 local, because I ain't sneaking this little 380 and a clip of ACPs on the metro. Oh no. Look, the mayor can tell Trump all she wants that the city's safe. But trust and believe, a motherfucker can still bring an ICBM on a damn metro bus, and the driver will do a total Sergeant Schultz. I get off at Eastern Avenue, way past up Kenilworth, and sure enough, this church is less a storefront than a whitewashed clapboard hooch. Big hand-painted cross nailed above the ramshackle door. Shares a weed-sprouted, busted parking lot with what looks like a very busy halal food truck, judging from the line. As for the church, however, it's bent, a front, and I do my papers genuflect for the poor souls Mattel's goons forced to worship in there to keep up the charade. I enter. Lord, it's dark. The windows are mere slits, not Notre Dame cathedral stained glass. Folding chairs are stacked along the walls. I look down on the floors, the 1970s vintage peeling and scuffed vinyl. I look up and there's a simple altar, a table really, an upright piano, a plywood riser next to it for a drum set, a couple of mic stands for a small choir. I squint and clock a plastic CVS bag on that piano. Something bulky, weighty in there, like cash. A lot of small bills. Ah, my fee. Mattel's such a class act. Now, in those shadows, my eyes are just getting set, but my nose is tracking something familiar. Chicken and rice? I used to scavenge that kind of stuff back in the day from the evenings extra and excess behind the bulletproof carryouts and mom and pop dives, because they didn't much check on who was poking around in the garbage. And sure enough, up on the altar of all places, there's a styrofoam clamshell, fragrant steam rising. So I ain't alone. And from behind the band riser comes this stout, dark-skinned sister in a floral print dress. Hard to say given the light, but I guess this outfit could double as one of those housecoat things women used to wear when they got out of bed. This chick had some meaty arms, and she snatches up that container and bites into a thigh. Bites? I hear slurping, not chewing. And with that weird sound and her face now coming into a slice of sunlight, Jesus, Mary, and Joseph, it's hitting me. Cracking in my dome. And without my Flomax from the VA hospital, I'd have pissed right there. It's her. It's really her. What's wrong with you, my greeter says after sucking a sliver of meat from her teeth. Don't play like you don't know me, I say to her, low, slow. Huh, Silver? I don't know you, but I know you was coming, and nobody named Silver here in Father God's house. I come closer and she's not backing away. I notice her short natural, no makeup, none of those glued-on eyelashes, or faux leather halter and leggings, and all that shit she featured when we last met. Your pin curls are gone, I tell her, and no more dye. She nods towards the CVS bag on the piano and says, Mister, you all want your money or not? Take it and go handle Mattel's business. I come right up to her, and she's still grubbing, unafraid, sloshing that meat like some insect digests food, not a mammal. Y'all lash me to a chair, I remind her, in case she's got Silver buried under someone's scripture. You need a backhoe. After I crashed y'all's little clubhouse, groove into your old Casey and JoJo, groping on your twinks and your teen gigolos, remember? And you handed Danielle a pool cue studded with nails. You remember that now? Yeah, your girl Danielle plugging the rock in the trank. Folk called her Gestapo from her days as a CO at the women's detention block down at the LCF. Does it ring a bell now? That gets her to put down her carryout. She pulls a deep breath into that massive chest and recites, My name is Maranatha, servant of this house and our Lord Jesus Christ. When she peeps my dead eye, she follows with gritted teeth and a low snarl. You finna get your cash? Or you gonna pester me more? I gotta type up the programs for midweek services. Too bad about Danielle, I say, huh? As I turn towards the piano, yet keeping one eye on her. You all hit me with that stick, what, 2-3 times? And I never gave you the satisfaction of a whimper. Danielle, I heard she wailed and shit her drawers when she met her end. And lucky for me, this lady's still not terribly agile, taking a step closer while reaching into her dress pocket. My ears catch a click, and there's a glint on a blade and a single slat of light coming through one of those shitty little windows. I pivot and I got the 380 pulled and aimed at her big head before she can lunge. 5 years ago, zooted on Love Boat, I could barely lace my shoes when I had shoes. Now I'm drawing down this evil bitch like Robert Redford as a Sundance Kid. She freezes. I thumb the safety off. We should have killed you, she bellows. I lower my aim towards one of her fleshy kneecaps and say, you tell Mattel to leave me alone and do my thing, understand? When your business with Mattel's done, she snarls, I'm going to come for you. Father God, forgive me. Sister Maranatha, please do, I tell her. See, I got my own pool cue under my mattress. A balabushka. Paul Newman is fast and he Felsen. Not that you know what the fuck that means. More important thing is those things don't break. I'm going to bring it back here and use it on you. So stay clear of me and mine. For sure, I'm out that rickety door fast, a Ruger in one hand, my fee in the other, causing not a stir from the lunch patrons. I'm not counting the cash till I'm in the bus shelter way down Sheriff Road. I peel some tens, form the rest into a guap, shove them deep into my trouser pocket. The D29 for Kenilworth Avenue lowers and I climb on, and soon I'm unbuttoning my shirt to let the bus's AC blast me. Causes shivers as it freezes, the sweat soaking my beater, and that's not why I'm trembling, though. Got to calm down, got to focus. Yeah, because my second destination's coming into view. Right under the trestles holding up I-295. The stroll, just in time for lunch, and I hop off, my pulse a little slower. You Dawit? I asked the slight, balding, leathery-skinned man in the aluminum box on wheels with a tow rod, festooned with all beef sabret stickers and hand-scrawled posters. Yummy hot dogs, half-smokes, pretzels. Guess I'm not a regular. Guess I'm too tall and scary. Guess he's a bit concerned because I know his name. Yeah, because the hot dog man is praying I don't hurt him.
All right,
Christopher Chambers.
Thank you, Chris.
Who we forgot to mention is a DC author. He's in DC right now.
That's right.
When you coming up?
Probably January.
Okay.
24th.
All right, not coming up for Christmas this year?
No.
Okay.
No.
All right.
Hanging out here.
Well, we'll see you
in Berlin on the Potomac.
All right.
Well, that's
thanks so
great.
much. Sounds really good, the book.
Yes, I can't wait. So we are going to be hearing from Peter, and then we'll be giving away a fabulous prize.
Oh, we got the book first.
Okay.
We had somebody on there. I saw a name. Streetwhys. Christopher Chambers.
Maria Lacella.
Was that who it is? Oh, Maria Lacella.
Yeah.
What happened to...
Oh.
No, that's okay. Maria Lacella. Give us your address on the chat box or somewhere, and we will
Congratulations,
send you...
Maria.
Congratulations. That's
right.
2 down out of 12. We've got 10 more books to give away. Woo! All right, I'm going to read this really quick because I thought it was a
winner
kind of a
of
cute
Streetwhys,
idea.
right?
Winner of Streetwhys is
right.
Maria Lacella. So give us your address, please. Thank you. All right, this is called Hieroglyphs. Inside this moment of where to begin, I feel I should start at the beginning, when hieroglyphics began. Just think about how they evolved. And if indeed they did, then where are the residuals from learning curves of our equivalent pre-K to 12? You know, like over there is a regular hieroglyph, so where did they learn to be so precise, right? Where are the lower, less intricate ones, or even ones that were cut off from the wall and then stuck over the bed because their kid did such a fantastic job? Where the hell did they all wind up?
All right.
Hieroglyphs.
Hieroglyphs.
Where the hell are they? We don't see those. We see these fancy ones.
Right.
Where did the kids come from? Okay,
yeah.
We're bringing up Bibbe Hansen. Who's going to join us right now. Come on, Bibbe. There she is. All right, Bibbe, it's so good to have you with us again this year. She's always in our Dada Journal, and we've done a lot of shows together, and it's wonderful to have you with us, Bibbe. We're going to turn the streaming floor over to you.
And don't forget to turn off your mute.
Turn off that mute. You got to turn off the mute. You're on mute.
There
you go.
There we go.
All right.
Thank you. Stubborn. Okay, well, got some poems here. I've been working mostly for the last couple of years on the book Factory Poems, as we all know. So I was sort of looking around for something. That's pretty much all I've been invested in and reading about. So I was kind of thinking about, God, isn't there something else I could read? But I haven't been doing a lot of other work because that's been demanding all my time and attention, as well as I started back working on my memoir. So, so digging around, I found some oldies but goodies and a few new ones, and a couple of them are all Kat's fault because last year she does this thing from time to time of a poem a day, and I don't join up, so I don't have to meet up anybody's expectation, but I play along and I write a poem a day. So I actually have a month of poems a day, and oh, look, there's some things in here. So anyway, so I went through the old files and some of those, and I got together a few poems as well as some oldies but goodies that we might even recognize. Okay. In the forgotten city of the future, we are turtle people, trundling along with our world in a shell, each an intergalactic communication center with the God of your understanding piped in alongside playlists of and for the damned, individual climate and lust control dialed in at birth, a dearth of sanctification possibilities overridden by sanctimonious data dictums. Who says we long for longing in the longhouse of today? We watch as the puppy people wean themselves to smokeless campfires of the tribal soul and become the sole proprietors of the will to tomorrow. So that's one. That was one from one of the poems of the day, Kat. That's all your fault. Yeah, this is an odd one about a long ago marriage relationship. Okay. There you were, reading my play around words and weeping. I had never made anyone cry before in my life. I felt my heart shift and crack open. I stared in wonder, then tried awkwardly to soothe you, thinking back. Your clumsy grace was my salvation. Thank you, sweet soul. I miss you. I still play the songs. I still play the songs that remind me of how I always knew I would be here one day in the then future, remembering us fondly and feeling you still. So that's that one. L'appel du vide, the empty page, gaping hole, blank canvas, all are grave insults to our now. How else could we be but here, always here, in this place, face to face? We are the aren't, wasn't, and isn't relegated to dream schemes. Longevity is a sigh in the heart of God's mistress, and the time it takes a child's tear to fall from grace and you. Okay. Oh, circus poem. This is our Fellini moment. We get a circus poem. My mother, I actually toured around the Carney circuit for a while with my mom. She actually started out as a teenager as a trick writer and tried to teach me all of that. So I was sort of raised with a lot of circus and Carney stuff in the background there, one of the many influences. Thoughts of you making a circus circuit through time, you the ringmaster of spare parts and hearts, a roustabout lover with a Carney grifter soul, me a snake charming trick writer, dancing on spangled elephant hopes dangling from impossible tropes, balancing the tightrope of your regard as the trapeze swing swooped madly between thrill and regret, all with no net. And gravity smiled. So there's that one there, wasn't it? I had a sort of interesting week or two in Paris long ago. And this is a poem I wrote remembering about that trip and those relationships. For a few minutes on the bridge between centuries, Parc Monceau belonged to me. Officially, she was closed, her trees torn and broken. Still, for a few instants, I lived as a neighbor, walking past, coming to and from my quarters, as though the place and time were mine by rights and not just for a few shattered nights. Sitting by firelight, arranging your pieces onto the electric page from memory, I glimpse your gates and smile at your name, conjuring up the pace of that place, the rhyme of that time, as lost as any of mine have been, except for belonging, the desire that clings even still. And here I am, hand caught in the memory till again, an habitual offender, sentenced to life, sans parole. There was a lovely, there's a woman, gosh, she was always so strong and powerful, but she's been in a nursing home for quite some time in Florida. And I really want to get down to see her. And she's a lot on my mind. She was the producer of a theater I worked in as a teenager. That was one of my first homes, my first working homes. And she's also a great lover of animals and was a docent at the local zoo in Florida before she became too ill. Anyway, this is for Joan. Joan Frank. Frankly, Joan, you bulldog, giraffe, tiger, lion, panda lady, I love you. From the curtain rigging to the costume department, from risers to coffee can spotlights painted black like bad espresso wrapped in red and white, skating across Marta's waxed bathroom floors all the way to your protesting, furious heart. Cheeseburger cheaters and poster imposters, staking out that banner-ridden corner for an elusive, marauding puddle jumper, then mountain high, watching the dawn rise over an impossible landscape. Remembering your winter workdays in heels always makes me wince and smile at the same time, in the same reverie. Forever revering your kindness to give this urchin orphan me a home in your boundless heart. That was for Joe. Okay, and we'll do just because we'll do a couple of factory poems. This one is going to be in the next issue. It isn't published in the last one. It's for Jackie. Tacky Jackie, the proto-punk queen, torn stockings and soiled lingerie, hair a mess and makeup melting. You loved my snaggletooth grin. Tomboys of love, we shared spinning glitter hearts within. Lucky wonderful, my East Side Johnny Angel. Tossing mini liquor bottles with notes to the future off a midnight West Side pier. And now, setting this love note adrift tonight, from me here in the future to us in the past, and you in heaven orbit, grand as ever, all glamour, glory, and gold. That's for Jackie. And this last, thank you. A couple of years ago, well, God, more like 10 or 11 years now, maybe even 12, we lost Holly Woodlawn, who was a dear friend and wonderful spirit. And I wrote a poem for her that's in the book, but this is another poem that never wound up getting published. But I wrote it almost immediately after hearing that she had died in December 4th, all those years ago. And I wrote this. Christmas without Holly is so very much less bright. One less star for our life tree. Holly, the most dazzling of all, she's gone shooting off into the siren sky, leaving behind a trace of cocktail perfume, laced with an arched brow, a sultry snicker, and a swish of crinoline. Holly Woodlawn, ad eternum. That's what I got. Did I do enough time? Do I have enough time? Is that good? Are we good?
This is
that was
Bibbe Hansen, the
Warhol
superstar, daughter of Al Hansen and a fabulous carny.
And mother.
I said fabulous carny. I didn't leave out the bomb.
Secret life.
Okay,
right.
That's great.
Right.
Thank you so much for joining us. And we're going to give away a book. We're going to give away the Gilded Butterfly Effect too.
This one just came out.
In October.
Go to Jacqueline Stark.
Jacqueline Stark, give us your address here on the chat box.
Yay,
I think we have
Jacqueline.
it, but you will win this book. You will get it in the mail. And this is a finished copy. So thank you so much, Bibbe. Thanks for joining us up in Hudson.
Thanks for having me.
It's always a pleasure. It's an honor to have you. Thank you.
Yay.
Okay, Kat's going to read it.
I'll read a quick poem. And here is, let's see, we go here, and here's me. I'm going to read a quick poem. This one's called Mirror Image. It's after Charles Bukowski, and Bibbe is right. I do write a poem every day. So as part of this group, of which Peter and Matthew are a part of as well.
Jane LeCroy.
And Jane LeCroy, who isn't here. I own the image in the mirror. I own the moles. I own the fat around the belly. I own this, the way the eyes puff, the way it eats an apple and peas and snores in its sleep. It is mine, this image, like a doll I used to play with when the image was younger and my thoughts clearer. I own this image. Someday I will carry this image down all the highways, past the city limits, up a hill, down the shore. Moles and eyes and fat, we will go to where queens sip tea in the deepest sea, where living is not terror, where teeth are not knocked out like Saturday morning cartoons. The image I own and the self I own will become green and sweet and alive again, and I will love myself and wait for you. Thank you.
Thank you, Kat.
All right.
All right, who are we bringing up next? Aram, you ready? You coming up with us? We have Aram's new book, Before I Forget, a memoir and then some. And I have to read this because this came in yesterday from Kirkus Reviews. The book will come out in April. Or is it May?
April.
Mm-hmm. And it's a little longer, the review, but we've got a shortened version. And all the reasons why we, wanted to publish this book, and we're working with Aram. I mean, they get it. It's just unbelievable. One of the finest reviews I ever read. It says here, one of the last living witnesses to the age of Jack Kerouac and the road trips of post-war American performance, Saroyan offers brief essays on the lives and loves of the era. A vivid recollection of an age when every day could be a dream.
And Kirkus Reviews.
I mean, that's a dream from them. And here's the book. And here's Aram Saroyan. Take it away. The son of William Saroyan, but also his own man.
Yeah.
Thank you. Okay. This is, it's a memoir, and this is one of the earliest installments in terms of the memory. And also one of the earliest pieces that I've written in the book. And just to give a little background at the beginning, in the early fall of 1951, we'd moved with our mother from a small mansion with an orange-tiled roof on North Rodeo Drive to this one-bedroom apartment in a 4-story apartment building on the corner of Olympic Boulevard and McCarty Drive. My father and mother were getting divorced for the second time, their second marriage having lasted 6 months. I was almost 8 years old, Lucy 5, and my mother just 27. And a little later in that piece, which is called Beverly Hills in the 50s. What the psychological mechanisms are, I'm still not clear about, but one afternoon when I kneeled down on the sidewalk in front of our apartment building and hold up the front end of my bike in order to spin the the front wheel, as the wheel spins in front of my eyes, I experience a hypnagogic hallucination. All of the noises of the neighborhood, as well as my inner monologue, turn into demonized gibberish. It's as if all noise becomes sonically wrinkled, and this pattern of wrinkles threatens to take over my mind so I won't understand what I'm hearing or thinking. I have more than one of these episodes, but none so severe or long-lived that I can't hold on to my identity through it. None lasts more than 10 minutes or so. I also sometimes experience noises made by Lucy in the apartment as if she's making them entirely for the purpose of annoying me. If she's in the bath, for instance, and I hear her splashing in the water as I lie on my bed, the splashes take on a quality of smug contentment that I hate. "Stop making that noise," I shouted her from the bed. Hannah, a German emigre painter and another of my mother's friends, does portraits of Lucy and me, both in the German expressionist manner with bold strokes of primary colors. Hannah's boyfriend, a tall, easygoing American named Ted, is the first person I meet who is said to be a poet. "Michael's a green name," he says to me one evening in Hannah's living room in West Hollywood after we've watched a game show based on charades. "Green?" I say, uncertain what he means. "Don't you think it's sort of a green name, Michael?" he asks, very relaxed and offhand. "I guess so," I answer, warming a little because of his manner. "What color would you say the name Sam is?" he asks. Instantly, a color leaps to mind. "Black?" "Good," he says. "You got it." Eisenhower is running against Stevenson for the first time, and Beverly Hills is full of red, white, and blue "I like Ike" buttons. There are fewer "all the way with Adelaide" buttons. One late afternoon, as I ride my bike around the neighborhood, I encounter a boy with a great mop of curly dark hair, also riding a bike. We seem to strike an instant rapport and ride around on our bikes together for a while. His name is Josh. When it's almost time to head home, he asks which candidate my parents want to win. Stevenson, I tell him. Mine too, he answers, delighted. As if this parallel ratifies our natural rapport, we both immediately stop our bikes, get off, and embrace each other. Around the corner from our building is a little cobblestone alley. My friend Tommy and I like to play and explore there in the warm sunshine after school and on weekends. Just off the alley, an old man has a workshop with pinups on the wall. There's the famous one of Marilyn Monroe stretched out naked across red velvet, and one of another voluptuous blonde with her breasts visible in a white fur coat. One afternoon in our wanderings up and down the alley, we find a small bullet in the crevice between two cobblestones. Don't touch it, I shout, holding Tommy back. Why not? Fingerprints, I remind him. Oh yeah, I'll go get something to pick it up with. You guard it. He lives in the corner house on the alley, a normal boy with a normal family who all eat Rice Krispies for breakfast. He returns in a moment with a paper napkin. Carefully, we pick up the bullet with the napkin and then walk with it to the police station. Can I help you, boys? The officer behind the counter asks. We'd like to report a bullet, I say. We open the napkin on the counter and the officer looks at the bullet. He asks and we tell him how and where we found it. He takes this information in, thanks us, and keeps the bullet. Leaving the building, I feel a little surge of pride for having done my civic duty. It's late afternoon now. As we walk down the steps, Tommy pokes me. Look, he says, it's Red Skelton. Dressed in a white suit, the red-haired comedian is coming up the steps we're walking down, and we turn to watch him. At the building's landing, he approaches a group of blue uniformed policemen standing to one side of the doorway. Break it up, boys, he says, or I'll call the cops. As a part of the divorce agreement that fall, my mother, Lucy, and I move into a brand new ranch house in the development in Pacific Palisades. As the Eisenhower era goes into gear, our life settles down for several years into a tranquil and, for my mother, deadly boring suburban routine. The carpool, public school, neighborhood friendships, and, for me, the Little League. I forget about going crazy. I want to hit a home run. Thank you.
Aram Saroyan, wonderful. We've got your book here. Before I forget, a memoir and then some, and somebody will win it. Let's see who we got. Who do we have? Marilyn Stabline. So
Marilyn Stabline is the winner of.
So give us your address. I think we have it. You're in our Dada Journal from time to time. So please send us your address. You'll get a copy, an ARC of Before I Forget.
All right.
So thank you, Aram. That was very kind. Very good reading. Exciting part.
Yeah.
I'm going to do another quick minute, less than a minute poem, and then we'll move on to our next book. Overbearing Disbelief. This mess of a man who says no vaccines is named Secretary of Health by a bigger mess who stole his way into a better place to steal, while kids come down with measles and what money there was for HIV awareness elsewhere is denied in lieu of ballrooms too late, in lieu of ballrooms where the mask will host a real Red Death. Much too late for the many who were already in line agreed upon as theirs. One day we'll need a 12-step MAGA program. Though more importantly soon, a lot of sharp snowflakes thinking somewhere far outside the box.
Yeah, very far. Whoa.
Really far. All right, so that's a little piece from me, Peter Karloftis, and now we're going to move on to our next book coming out in the spring,
which is Levitating the Pentagon and Other Uplifting Stories
by Nancy Kurshan, A Life of Activism. Here she is, Nancy. Tell us about the book and give us a little excerpt. And we're so proud to be publishing this book. I think it's in March, late March
24th.
The book will come out. There's lots of great pictures. She was in the original of the original Chicago 8, which became the 7, and never included a woman, but she was there
among other things.
Yeah, many other things.
All right, so please take it away, Nancy.
Okay. I'm struggling with my voice today, so I'm going to do the best I can, but I wanted to be here, so I'm here. I'm going to read the short introduction that I wrote, and then I'm going to read something from the center of the book, which might not make complete sense because you won't have read everything that comes before, but there it is. On the 35th anniversary of the 1969-70 Chicago conspiracy trial, I was interviewed by a public television reporter for a retrospective piece on the Chicago 8. As he and his cameraman entered my house, he quipped, "I just interviewed Richard Schultz, the assistant prosecuting attorney. He insists that you came to Chicago to overthrow the American government. He knows it sounds silly, but that's what he believes to this date." Without missing a beat, I replied, "It doesn't sound silly at all. That was in fact what we wanted to do." And then I added, "Why wouldn't we want to overthrow a government that murdered 2 to 3 million Vietnamese and 60,000 US troops? Why wouldn't we want to overthrow a government that launched a joint FBI police force campaign to destroy the Black Panthers, that left in its wake scores of dead revolutionaries and many others imprisoned for life?" It still rings true, but somehow it doesn't. It sounds like the old me. We were good at sounding sure of ourselves, as well as at hiding how scared and unsure we really felt. It leaves a lot out. So how did a 24-year-old white girl from Long Island end up running from cops through the streets of Chicago in a purple sundress and pigtails? And how did a PhD student in psychology end up having tea with the FBI's most wanted? Did I know what I was doing? Yes and no. Much of the time I was improvising. Chicago 68 was pivotal for me, but it was just part of a longer road that led from summer camp sing-alongs with Pete Seeger to civil rights shop-ins at Sears Roebuck and civil disobedience on the steps of the Pentagon. It led on to North Vietnam, to the inside of America's courts and jails, and again back to Chicago. I traveled that road because it felt right, and because of much of the time it was actually fun. My journey has also been about becoming a woman with a voice, from an affirming childhood, but one in which sexism was a word unknown, through some difficult relationships with men, the male-dominated movement, and the transformative yet anxiety-producing challenges that feminism presented to me. This is my story, but it's not only mine. It's the story of a whole generation set in motion by the civil rights movement and the Vietnam War. It's a story that's already been told, mostly by men, and now it's my turn. That's the first part. When the Chicago 8 conspiracy trial began, I did not consider myself a feminist. By the following spring, that had changed. I was slowly becoming a feminist, albeit a somewhat uneasy one. While the trial was coming to a close, the women's liberation movement asserted itself with a bang. A group of women seized control of the Rat, the most overtly political of the New York underground newspapers. They kicked out the men and they produced the first all-women's issue. That feminist takeover reverberated throughout the left. In the February 1970 issue of The Rat, former Yippie Robin Morgan let loose a polemic against the male-dominated left in which she ran down the male supremacy of all quarters of the movement, and no group was spared. The piece was entitled Goodbye to All That, and in it, Robin targeted the underground press, the peace movement, the old left, the new left, the Weathermen, the ecology movement, the hippies, and alas, the yippies, of which I was one. She said goodbye to them all, and she named names. She specifically called out Abby, Krasner, and yes, my boyfriend Jerry. Robin completed the piece with a call to free about 20 women who were captives, she said, of the male-dominated political cultural movements of the time. So free Kathleen Cleaver, free Anita Hoffman, free Nancy Kurshan, free Gumbo, just to name a few names from these pages. With modesty and in recognition of the complexity, the final declaration was, free Robin Morgan, free our sisters, free ourselves. Yikes, I was on that list. Much to my humiliation, my name was right out there. I walked around with that piece reverberating in my head and challenging me for months and even years, and perhaps even to this day. I felt hassled, confronted, and blamed. I was very uncomfortable, and I vacillated between anger at Robin, anger at the men around me, and anger at myself. I was being challenged to change and was defensive about my relationship with Jerry. Yet how could I call myself a feminist and remain in that relationship? I suppose change is often uncomfortable and confusing, and that's how I felt much of the time. But despite the discomfort, the overall impact was positive. I might have been angry at the messenger, but I got the message because it resonated with my own true life experiences. After the conspiracy defendants were sentenced on contempt charges, they were sent to Cook County Jail without bond. In a certain way, the jailing of the defendants released the energy of the support staff, many, if not most of whom were women. In all honesty, I definitely felt myself make a leap forward. And together we organized a mass support demonstration at the Chicago Federal Building, and about 10,000 people showed up. Anita and I rented judges' robes, and using the Jefferson Airplane phrase, we made a banner, "We are all outlaws." Joined by Tasha Dellinger, we called a press conference and appeared in front of the banner in our judicial robes and proceeded to disrobe. Trying hard not to set my hair on fire, I sprayed the robes with lighter fluid while Anita struck the match. And that image of the three of us with fists in the air and robes of fire was picked up around the world. I remember the worried anxiety I felt that Jerry, Abby, and the others were in jail, but also the real pride I felt in our ability to organize and carry on without them. These were tumultuous times for our movement, but for me it was also a time of personal growth as a woman and as an activist. So that's sort of the story of the cover of my book, actually, which is us with the robes.
Thank you so much, Nancy Kurshan.
Right. This is the cover, and that's that photo she's talking about, which says, "We are all outlaws in the eyes of America." And she's burning a judge's robe, and it's just incredible. But Robin Morgan, who she mentioned, who got her inspired to become a feminist, loves this book and says, for readers still trying to figure out what the New Left was about, this is the book to read. And we also received a very good review of this book just now
Also from
in
Kirkus.
Kirkus Reviews, and we have another book review coming out soon in Publishers Weekly.
Thank you so much, Nancy.
Thank you, Nancy.
For it's an honor to have your book and you attached to our press.
It's a beautiful thing.
An amazing American. You're what it's all about.
Right.
This is why
I'm one of many.
No, but this is why we do what we do, to represent the freedom that you've created and have never relinquished.
Right.
It's very important.
That's why we're able to.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, thank you for
so
being
much.
brave enough. Thank you for being brave enough to publish my book.
Yeah,
well,
thank you.
Your bravery is at the top of the the heap. All right. Thank you so much, Nancy. Nancy Kurshan.
All right.
We're gonna give this book somebody who's screaming for it. Oh, it's gonna be a reader soon. Patricia Leonard will get this book. Okay, she wants it, she gets it.
Right.
So I think we have your address, Patricia. But if not, just give us your address too, and we'll definitely get you this book. So
tell her to tell me what she thinks of it. Or
okay,
we will.
Okay.
She'll be happy to tell you. Are you reading a piece?
Yes, I'll read a quick piece here.
And then we're going to start bringing up some poets for a change.
This one is called. This one is actually set in the era of the Vietnam War, 1972. My father and I pick apricots from the tree on the side of the house. Summer sky blue, the heat, the wind. I pick from the low limbs, orange, velvet, ripe fruit. Each bite, sweet juice rolls down my fingers. This is what we do during wartime in the suburbs, pick fruit in the sun. Tonight before dinner, we'll watch the news. Watch the segment from the battlefield, soldiers and guns in the distance, a parade of rail-thin children and mothers. We'll watch as numbers overlay the live images. How many deaths on our side, on theirs, how many injured, the missing. Tomorrow we'll tackle the plums, Dad says, wiping crumbs from his mouth before coffee. All right, that's that. All right.
Cat Georges. She's here.
Yes.
So next we're going to bring up Matthew Hupert. Come on, Matthew. Let's bring you. There he is. He's on it's your spotlight.
Hello.
So we're happy to hear he's in our poetry group. We write poems every day.
And we also published a book of his.
Yes, we did. Ism Is a Retrovirus. So.
You did. My first collection.
And he's also been in several issues.
Many of them MAINTENANT. So
take it away, Matthew.
Maybe we'll give away to MAINTENANT.
Okay.
This is really lovely. Thank you. I am honored to be included here. Everyone's fucking fabulous. I love you all. How small does your dick need to be to rename the Kennedy Center after your own name? Holy fuck. What is wrong with people? All right. I've got 4 here. The first one is brand new. I haven't even heard it out loud yet, so I have no idea if it's any good or not. So we're going to find out together. It's called The Big Deep, Woodstock, New York, 1979. The acid was kicking in hard, but clean, clear, and easy. Pure liquid, cold Catskill waters, blue sky, oak, and elm bliss. It was different then, before Sandy reshaped it smaller, shallower, a good 20 dark, icy feet to the bottom, chained off still since the 60s ended, self-cleaned, mountain pristine, always empty, our private pond. Rock warm and lizard naked, bow and I on bed soft shale, in the trees behind us, a sound, a trod, a rustle, and no one was there. What the fuck? Shortly after they unlinked the fence, the Woodstock Times ran a piece on swimming holes in the area. Where else but the Big Deep could you still find naked hippies sunning themselves? Imagine the throng surprise when they arrived to find the naked hippies were just Richard and me. The disappointment was palpable, but the dam had broken, and it's always crowded now on summer days. Did we imagine it? Laughter dissolving into the stone when we heard it again. A step and a rustle, and still no one there. Cue the Mission Impossible theme, circling the woods, electric green canopy hum, nothing else until step, rustle again, and some moments again. Who's there? Slowly, slowly, we triangulated to the old oak waterside. What the fuck was going on? We watched like house cats when the first cardinals perch outside, alert, too absurd for fear. Then a breeze, an acorn drops a rustle. That's the day a tree snuck up on us. Thank you. All right. True story. That one was a true story. Okay. Then I have three more. I have two political ones and then a more personal one. The first one here is called New Liars, Same Lies. The myth of nostalgia taints the air, and the new seems darker because the then is worshipped as if the sun was set in gold. There were no golden days, only days of iron, so those on golden thrones could think their golden thoughts while we lifted iron weight, shackled in iron manacles, gagged into silence by iron fists with a false promise of gold to come. And they're back again. Pockets, gold stuffed, bulging at the seams, promising any gold that spills out will be ours if only we let their pockets overflow. But the pockets have zippers, and the gold only has value because it never spills to the floor. And this one has both an epigram and a footnote, so I must have been really ambitious. The epigram is from that Nazi piece of shit, Stephen Miller. Under Title 10 of the U.S. Code, the president has plenary authority. And the footnote is, it doesn't. This is called plenary authority. Another bourbon bar at the tail end of democracy, drowning the generational deja vu of jackboots demanding papers at the point of a gun. Everyone's fronting like it's okay, but look closely. The signs of wear are everywhere. The chipped nail polish, the smoldering Marlboro, lipstick stained, smoked to the nub, eyes that never sit still, a strained laugh quickly swallowed. Every ear fears, knock, knock, who's there? Ice, motherfucker, open the door. It's Casablanca on the Hudson. Time to sing the Marseillaise because they're saying the quiet part out loud and have forgotten to fear us. And this last one, today is my son's 21st birthday. And I would like to pretend he's watching, but if it was my 21st birthday, I sure would be watching what my parents were doing. But anyway, I wrote this letter to him for his birthday, a poem letter. And I'll share it with you now because he's a good human. Dear son, I've done what I can, doubted and sweated, took mace to the face, wrote poems and polemics, and hugged you on the daily. Tried to teach you tolerance and outrage in equal measure, looked for beauty in all the ugly places without too much sugar or shade, to shape into a man who makes the world better just by being in it. The tough times are here, but they will pass, I promise, if you do something about it, and do something you must. I'm sorry, but it's your world now. Give it a spit and a shine. Make it your own. Live in beauty, not fear, like I know you can. I may be worried for you, but I'm not worried about you. So happy birthday, Miles. Love you all. Thank you so much.
Beautiful.
Wow, that's so
Happy
beautiful.
birthday, Miles. He's not watching, but it's okay.
Happy birthday,
We're
Miles.
watching, right?
What a beautiful thing.
Yeah, very nice.
Yeah. Hopefully you'll write it and send it to us.
Thanks for joining us.
All right.
Okay, we're going to give away this book.
Peace, Love, and Hate.
Came out in October. It's a nice mystery set in 69 San Francisco. And where's that? No, here we go. We're giving it out to Annie Rachel Lanzilotto. So send us your address if you can.
And thank you for watching on Facebook.
And thank you for watching us. We've got, I think, 5 more readers. And, of course, Kat and I are interspersing. And we've got 5 more books to give away. So I'm going to do a quick piece. And then we're going to move on to our next poet. This is called First Car. The first car I drove on a highway was a truck, a large truck, a box truck that the 2 guys inside who picked me up hitchhiking asked me to drive on the turnpike. So I took the wheel, I needed the ride, and was handling things fine until the first toll booth, where I lost my bead and twisted around trying to brake. I don't know why I didn't smash that truck through a few toll booths. Something saved us. And the guys looked at me like, why'd you get behind the wheel? But they still gave me a lift all the way to the city, let me out at the tunnel, Lincoln, with the words, "You're lucky." And I was hoping they were right because I needed a place to stay. First time ever in a truck. I should have. It would be a better story if I took out the toll booth. Right? Maybe I should just lie about it. Everybody lies. Let's go. All right, so we're going to move on with our next reader. Is Coward or Coward? Karen Hildebrand is coming to the forefront. Yay, Karen! So good to see you.
Hi.
Hello.
We'll be seeing you next week, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Happily,
All right.
happily. So I have 3 poems tonight. I don't know. There's like a period, with the Vietnam War, and that whole thing has kind of been on my mind too. I have a more innocent poem from that era called Moonshot. And it's the day we landed on the moon, July 20th, 1969. Mm-hmm. I watched from the bedroom with my high school boyfriend as Neil and Buzz planted the flag. Staticky fizz from the zenith, rabbit ears cocked. Bill was working hard that summer to become his father, a kind enough man. The kind I thought I might marry. I spent the virginity I'd been tossing out in small coins. Wild thing, you make my heart sing on repeat, play it loud. The local radio station ran a contest to predict when the mercury would first hit 100. It never did. Some say the moon landing was staged. Those of us who watched hung tight. How majestic we looked from this new perspective. You guys aren't muted, Okay, so this is, the title of this poem is from, it's a quote from Jack Kerouac on the road. There was nowhere to go but everywhere. Driving 35 in a 50 zone, strapped tight, knuckles clamped at 10 and 2, Kerouac, I am not. He didn't drive, rode shotgun while cruising a shiny hubcap America before it supersized into Marriott remote, check-in, Chick-fil-A drive-through, brakes locked in a sidelong skid, 18-wheeler bearing down. My dad drove an economy version of Jack and Dean's Hudson Commodore. Evidence exists of toddler me peering from under the sloping roof, a story told by Kodak about keeping faith. This persistent muscle pumping blood like hope through limbs that trudge to the local Aldi's ratcheting humidity price of leafy greens. This muscle that swells near bursting for Sarah's toddlers, 2,000 miles away. The miracle of dead and dying family members rising anew in their soft faces. Who would not hold their breath while driving a borrowed Toyota through Cleveland, Des Moines, Omaha? Next Phillip vaporizing, thanks to scoundrels who call themselves savior, emptying our pockets, stripping the land, terrorizing our migrant neighbors. Watching a storm gather in the distance like homing geese, the local farm report murmuring from the radio, oats, cocoa, lean hog, live cattle, cotton futures are down, soybeans holding strong. And I'll end with this. It's called As a Button. Bone shard, bakelite, mother of pearl. Vintage buttons collected by Jane in a coffee table bowl. Moon round board for lacings of catgut or floss, poked by needles. Blue button blossoms bloom on a wrist. Belly button, button nose, banana fingers, bulging hip. Victorian grommets allowed a sip of breath. Loosed one, then another. Nipples like buttons, left undone. Below the clavicle for the drip, replaced by snaps. Squeezed to an ill fit after the procedure. Buttons of a pay phone, stifling booth at the corner. Like Jane, now gone. Anything that clicks, snaps, pops is not. The ones only you know how to push. Little packets tucked in a drawer, extras stowed in a jar, slogans to pin to your ball cap at political rallies and bake sales. A finger slipping down a shirt placket, grocery list, budget shortfall, last phone call, departed friends, barbarous, bellicose, bare-knuckled, buttoned up. Those twin barns stuck like buck teeth back from the road in that darling little town, cute as a button. Thank you.
Karen.
Thank you,
Hildebrand,
Karen.
thank you.
Beautiful.
We're very excited to have you with us, and we'll be seeing you Monday, I think, and Tuesday. That's too much.
Yeah, all right.
Maybe it's too much for you. And today as well, Thursday, Monday, Tuesday.
Right.
We're going to give away this book right now, which is The Colors of April, and it is the fiction on the Vietnam War's legacy 50 years later. It came out last year on April 30th. It was 2025, which this year.
It claims a story by Viet Thanh Nguyen.
There's a lot of great stories in here, both by the Vietnamese American diaspora and also the people who still are Vietnamese Vietnam post-war, who live in still post-war Vietnam. Which at the time we think, oh well, it was such a great a big loss to America. You got to realize one thing. And America isn't only white people, but the whole world consists of 8% white people. So let's start thinking beyond white, and let's be inclusive. And if we're always inclusive, we don't amount to the word white. We're just going to move on with this world without this nonsense that's going on now. And here we go. The Colors of April is going to go to 8%. Don't give in. This is Angela Francis, The Colors of April. You're on the list here, so please leave your address and you will get this wonderful book. There's 28 stories from both sides of the Vietnam War. And if you go to Vietnam, that day was Independence Day there. We say, well, we don't agree with Hanoi. There's a lot that people don't agree with, but we can agree with freedom. And that was their freedom at that moment. It was their Independence Day. So Kat's going to read a poem, and we've given away that book. And we'll be bringing up someone very soon after Kat.
We have just a few more books to give away, but they're all good. So this is a poem called How Is Your Heart? Waltzing city canyons on this crystalline midsummer eve, young girls with their coltish legs and slender waists, young men with eyes inhaling every available sensuous scene, the last of the laborers edging home slouched in subway seats, sore muscles in their toolbox arms, and office workers giggling from the third glass of happy hour wine. A woman fans herself cool on the train, clutching a bouquet of flowers, and all the people are heading home, some to sanctuaries, some to torture chambers, some to quiet beds, some to screaming neighbors and infestation. And I want to ask them all, how is your heart? Tell me, is it like mine right now? Full of love and hope, ready to change in a moment when the reality of too much world stifles its beat, when all the wonder of the day seems not like magic, but a cruel joke, the rug ready to be pulled out from under you, the chair removed at the last minute, all those dreams, poof, ready to vanish. And I've had those days lately a lot. It's the money, it's the system, it's a silly argument erupting into something more vicious. But here I am again, late night, walking alone in a place where stars exist, even though they can't be seen. And I have to believe, I have to keep believing they're still there.
Cat George.
Thank you. Thank you.
All right, and now we're going to bring up the author of People Are Talking, which came out in April 25, and that is Amanda Eisenberg. Come on, Amanda, where are you?
This is her debut
Yay,
novel.
Look at that.
Hello.
Thank
What
you.
is that behind you, Golden Gate Bridge?
Yes.
We were just out there.
It looks beautiful, right?
Yeah, right.
The vibe.
All right.
So
take it
we'll
away.
be giving this book away, her book, her novel, and she'll be reading a little bit about it. And we're so happy to have you here. Thanks for being able to join us.
All right.
Amanda Eisenberg.
I'm going to start reading the first couple of pages. Chapter 1. This is Mal's perspective. She's on the 101 in LA, and it's April 17th, 2024. Mal thinks there's a ghost in her stomach. If she had money, which she doesn't anymore, she'd see a doctor. Instead, she's doing everything she can to cleanse her spirit, her stomach, her soul, and her home, and that involves checking her mailbox, a task she's ignored since her girlfriend moved out. Amid the stack of eviction notices, debt consolidation offers, and other junk mail, the crisp white envelope stands out. The black ink, which bears her name incorrectly, swirls across the weighted paper. Mal's first instinct is to set the unopened envelope, a blatant money grab, ablaze. She's not wanted at this wedding, but a check-in RSVP with her regretful absence is surely what they're looking for. She wants to watch the invitation curdle from the flames and turn to ash, a fate she wishes would befall her college memories. Her stomach gurgles. Ghost conjuring ghosts. What a concept. As she heads to a last-minute meeting with her literary agent, the idea continues to haunt Mal. How did Marcus and Tamar even find her? None of her college friends know where she lives, and she's made sure it stayed that way. Mal begged Kara to leave her name off the lease, but now that's come back to bite her in the butt. The landlord is well within his rights to evict Mal, even if she were paying the rent. Still, the sheer presence of the invitation in her mailbox, it doesn't matter if it's been in there for a few weeks or a few months, makes her feel as if someone planted the bomb. The traffic is slower than usual, prompting Mal to slam the car horn while shoveling the last of an In-N-Out cheeseburger into her mouth. She crinkles the wrapper and forcibly throws it at the passenger seat, but the paper lazily floats to the floor, infuriating her even more than the density of cars, each one costing more than her college education. The wrapper is just another example of how Mal's efforts are always futile, no matter how much energy she throws into her endeavors or her friendships. We get a move on, Mal yells over the music blaring from her car, adding in a few expletives. As if to punish her for using profanity, Chapel Roan cuts out and is replaced with an incoming call. Bubba, I can't wait on you all day. Joan's thick Brooklyn accent booms from the speakers of the beat-up Camry. I'm only in town for so long. Mal lowers the volume to complain about LA drivers, but her agent cuts her off. Listen, we need to submit something by the time Meredith gets back from the Hamptons, Joan says. I understand inspiration hasn't struck, but I don't want to keep reminding you that they're expecting something. We were supposed to strike when the iron's hot, but now it's going to be a lot harder to get another good deal as your first. Joan, I gave them 2 other book ideas in the past year with sample chapters. Mal reminds her, her tone dripping with frustration. Uncharitable people may call it condescending. I'm being punished for having a successful breakout. Those ideas were half-baked, and you know it. Joan's voice is stern, but not unkind. Don't bullshit, Mallory. I've been in the business longer than you've been alive. If I'm such a dead weight, then why don't you drop me? Mal asks. Joan brings out Mal's inner brat, an honor that once belonged to an ex. His face, with those appraising green eyes, flood her mind in such vivid detail that she can see his features form in the sun's glare. Mal smacks the visor down to block it out. Sweetheart, That's what the meeting was about if you could have been here on time, Joan says. I don't think this is going to work out if you can't meet deadlines. I've been patient because taking you on was a personal favor. It served you well, though, Mal says, signaling to get off at the nearest exit. She needs a cocktail, and if it's not on her agent's dime, funded largely in part by her own work, she'll have to make do with Serena. You have another novel in you, Joan says. I'm letting you know what the reality is. When I signed you, I promised I'd tell you the truth, always. I need something, a real something. It could be the first 3 chapters, but it has to be better than the other attempts. Joan pauses. This is not a threat. I went back and forth on whether to tell you, but I want you to understand the severity of what they're telling me in New York. Meredith has threatened to blacklist you. You won't be able to sell to any publisher beyond the Indies if she makes good on her promise. I don't know what you did to piss her off so badly, Mallory. I really don't.
Hey!
Thank you so much for getting to us, Amanda.
All right.
She's got the Golden Gate Bridge back there, but she lives up on the Upper East Side there, not that far up. 50, what is it, 53rd, 55th? Somewhere up there.
In the 50s, yeah.
Yeah, in the 50s. We went up to P.J. Clark's, Were We Happy? And had lunch up there. It was wonderful.
Wonderful. So good to see you again.
And we're going to give your book away.
Right.
And we're going to be selling more of your books here during the Christmas holidays, we hope. And it's wonderful to see you tonight. So stick around. We'll hang out a little afterwards if you can.
All right.
All right? Okay. People are talking. The winner is... Let's see what we got in here.
In the envelope,
That's
please.
exciting. It's also in... I can't get it. There it is. It is Christopher Chambers. We're going to get him a copy of this. And if he'll read it, and Diane will read it too. Christopher
Chambers.
Okay.
All right.
Next on the list is David Lawton.
David Lawton.
All right. We got Sharp Bruce Stream, which we published. Come on up, David. Where are you there? There he is.
Hello. Hello, everybody.
Hello there.
I need, I think every year I have to start by saying thank you to Peter and Kat for keeping this tradition going, which we need more than ever.
Yeah.
Yes. Thank you. And I also have to mention, what have I been doing this year? Well, I have a new chapbook. In case anybody missed the fact that I have a chapbook I'm proud of that's called The Graveyard of Memory. It's from Bottle Cap Press. Bottle Cap Press, they hand make the chapbook, so if you ordered one, it would take a while. But I have some copies, so if you're anxious, I'll sign one for you. We can do a PayPal thing. We can meet on etc. That's right. I put a lot of work into it, so I got to mention anyway. Another thing that happened this year, I come from a big Irish Catholic family in the suburbs of Boston, and I lost one of my brothers. So I want to use some of this space to remember this brother by. AKA Brother Jay. My oldest brother, Jay, was the problem child, the counterculture kid. But we're not talking love beads here. At 14, he started hanging out with motorcycle riding, hard partying working men. He grew his hair out, demonstrated at school to be allowed to wear jeans, was suspended from school for skipping class, smoked a lot of weed, fought with our parents, wrote "I hate Dad" with a red pencil on his bedroom wall, jammed Led Zepp and Grand Funk full blast behind closed door. Jay and one of his buddies applied for a job at the new mall. Jay didn't want a job, but his dropout friend did. Jay didn't know what he wanted, but he knew he liked money. So he filled out an application at the Hot Shop cafeteria. The manager said he wanted to use Jay's friend as a busboy, and he was going to put Jay on the pots and pans. For 8 hours, he scrubbed the crusted food with steel wool and hot soapy water. His hands hurt and the skin shriveled up. When his shift was finally over, the manager said he did such a great job, he wanted to make Jay pot man for the week. Jay threw his dirty apron in the guy's face. When his friends on the corner heard that the boss wanted to make Jay pot man for the week, they almost pissed themselves laughing. One of the older ones, Rollo, had an old lady who did leather work. He had her make Jay one of those finely tooled belts that were so popular in the 70s, and centered above his ass crack in golden letters, she stenciled the word Pot Man. And that is the story of how my brother Jay became Pot Man for life. So that's one. I just have one more for you. And I want to say one of the really cool things about Peter and Kat and Three Rooms Press. Well, one of the cool things is, of course, the Matinee Dada Journal, that it becomes a greater and greater work every year. And one of those guys spent a lot of time out on the West Coast and involved with theater and stuff like that. And they had a relationship with an extraordinary poet whose name was Scott Weinberg, who's one of the great poetry characters of the West Coast, and who died years ago. But every year, I think, in Matinee there is another poem of Scott Weinberg's that we discover, and I only got to know him a little bit before his death, but my respect for him and his legacy has grown through the years. The year that he had died, there was a little salute section to Scott, and I wrote a poem because I used to have contact with him on Facebook and stuff. He was loved character actors, and especially character actors from Westerns. So I wrote this for Scott Weinberg enters the gates of heaven. The sun told him it was high noon, so he smiled and squinted back, mopping the sun off his neck with his buckaroo bandana. The desert air felt good to breathe, and he could smell the sagebrush on the breeze as a fellow who looked like Groot from Red River gave him some water to drink from an old tin cup, while Pompey from Liberty Valance held his horse so he could dismount, and Andy Devine wheezed, "Howdy!" A blustery Chill Wills tipped his hat. Albert Salmi spit tobacco juice in Jack Elam's one good eye. Out in front of the saloon, Lee Van Cleef stared at him hard, but Richard Boone rubbed his fingers together to let him know he had his back, while a stuntman whose work he had admired in episode 33 of The Wild Wild West did a shoulder roll through a breakaway hitching post after busting out the swinging doors. Then Katie Jurado stepped out onto the balcony, a desert rose poised in her décolletage, and called him to join her in the upstairs parlor. Ben Jonson gave him a wink and slapped him on the back, but he stopped to scratch behind the ears of Josie Wales' mangy dog, and the man with no name lit a long, thin cigar, blowing the smoke into the space from which he'd gone. Scott David Weinberg, 1953 to 2011. Peace. Happy holidays.
Love Scott Weinberg. And you, David Lawton. Thank you.
Yay, that was beautiful. And I love all those mentions of all the names of the people.
He was the best for character actors. I couldn't stump him.
Yeah.
You know, I would give him something that I thought would stump him, and he'd think for a little longer, but he'd always come up with it.
Right. All right. So,
What happened?
in the head.
Whoops.
What?
Go ahead.
What happened?
I had it on mute, but now it's not on mute.
Oh, we're okay?
Yeah.
All right. Hole in the head. That's with WHOLE. That kind of hole. There is no God, never was, nor will be one. Yet most remain convinced. Who could this entity be? Female, male? Come on. How uninspired can you get? There is more out there than little old us who necessitate the fairy tale of God. To allow fear to ring louder. Believe in our God, or else God will know you don't. I don't! Ever since being a kid, I heard no ring of truth from a God ever after. More than one, egads. No time of day, week, month, even year conjures up God into feasible form. This has always been a part of what I am made up of. I hear someone spout God. I don't spout back. Prove it. I turn off their spout to my ears. Yet it drips. I don't doubt I am wrong. How else could so many ease the pain and pangs of human hell without some promise of heaven or hell? Like, okay, I believe. Let's make a deal. How do we rid ourselves of those who believe otherwise?
Yay!
Okay, we are bringing up Patricia Leonard.
Okay, so
come on, Patricia, you're next.
Where is she?
She's here.
There is Patricia.
Yay! She's on.
Hello, so good to see you, Patricia. All right.
Hi.
It's always so hard following all the great acts.
Well, you're a great act too, so we need you.
Right. And there you go.
Thank you. It's such an honor to be included. Thank you, guys. So I'm going to be reading my piece that's in Month 19. Can you hear me? Yes. Okay. But I have a prelude from Know Your Caribbean on Instagram that I want to start with. The word obia encompasses a varied range of traditions, practices, and complex supernatural beliefs. The term and practices is tied to British colonies who, in the 1800s, labeled Caribbean nations after the Atlantic slave trade. The term is tied to sacrifice, offering, suppression. So why so many avoid it? Obia, in many parts, are reserved only for destructive rituals, regarded as sorcery. But it is not just a word. It's history. It's culture. It's preservation. So why we reclaim it? It's defined as complex, supernatural, healing, protecting. Words carry our ancestors. Know before you speak. So my piece is on page 22 of MAINTENANT, and it's entitled Obia. Heart ripped out of chest, the Obia man can't fix me now. No potion or tonic could cure my broken heart. No blood sacrifice or chant can bring him back. No. Say, love was destroyed by humans, parentals who call themselves beings. And I have one more that I'm working on. It's called Dependable. Despite the lack of cartilage, I've had to build my backbone. Her backbone. Your backbone. The very same spine that holds my head up high in times when the weight of the earth, heavens and skies cry from my eyes. Thank you. That's all I got for today.
That's okay.
All right.
That's perfect.
Thank you, Patricia.
Thank you so much for joining us. It's always great to see you. And I don't know how you weren't at the reading this year at the library.
I don't know what happened.
Me neither, because you've always been with us.
Right.
But this year something took that away. But we're going to give this book away right now. It's called Of Blood and Lightning, and it's a YA fantasy, and we're giving it away to Jesse Syriac Evans. So please give us your address, and you will get
congratulations,
Blood and Lightning.
Jesse.
Congratulations, and thank you so much, Patricia Leonard. We have 2 more readers, and at the end of the show, we're going to give away the MAINTENANT. And until then, we've got. Are you reading a poem?
Yes.
Kat's going to read a poem. That'll be The Last of Us.
Yeah.
And then we've got 2 more readers, and we're doing really well.
All right. So this is called The Whale Breaches. The sight of the whale breaching the fluxing surface of the deepest ocean, bisecting the line formed where sky meets sea, as you stare at what was just nothing, overwhelmed by the something now there. The whale breaching all 3,500 pounds of it, all 18 feet of it, as you become aware just then of the absolute hugeness of life. As the foam of water explodes in joy around the breaching whale, you and your little boat, you and your little body, you and your little world, racked by your little worries, little insecurities, suddenly dissolve by the greatness of a moment marked in your mind as a whale breaching. Everything, every single thing suddenly changes, not by the whale itself, but by you. You see, you remember, you tell the story, you create eternity. All right.
Pat George, that's her poem.
There you go.
All right, so now we're going to bring up Martina Salisbury, and she's very kind to have made it today, and we're so happy to have her with us. And where are you, Martina? She's here somewhere. There she is. I see her.
Yay!
Here she comes.
Yay, we're matching.
Martina.
All right.
You're very kind to have me. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, we figured we'd give you a little more time to.
Yes, I've been drinking tea. I'm regaining my voice a bit. So first of all, thank you guys so much for inviting me to be part of this and for organizing and for everything that you do to create this beautiful community of poets and writers and artists and Dadaists and punk rockers and weirdos. I'm glad to be part of this group. And one of the things I love that you do is your MAINTENANT Journal. Honestly, I didn't start publishing until I sent something to you for the 10 years ago for MAINTENANT. And so I kind of wanted to go back into past issues of MAINTENANT and pick out a few favorites. And I love that you have a theme every year and kind of going back to that. It's almost like an assignment. I kind of love the challenge of the inspiration. So this is going back, actually this isn't 2015, this is 2017, MAINTENANT 11. The theme was An Eye for a Lie. And this is called Lying in Wait. Skeletons run for the door when eyes close and there is nothing to hide behind but the lies you told yourself and everyone you know. Creep like smoke behind fake lashes through cracks and lines of your colored lips, flecks of ash from filterless tips stuck to powdered skin. There will be times phosphorescent bodies leak through drunken breaths, forgotten nights and in daylight, in books not burned, pages torn out, they kiss the air with shadows. And fast forwarding to 2020, the theme of MAINTENANT 14 was unsustainable bullshit. And I wrote this at the very beginning of 2020, when the year was already off to a pretty terrible start. In January, Australia was burning, and there have been recent fires in California. We were almost at war with Iran, it looked like. And I wrote this, I think, just in the first week of the year, not having any idea of how much more fucked up that year was going to become for everybody. So this is called The Week in Review. Just 4 days in, if that, into this new year, walls of flames are chasing kangaroos and koalas, and we are chasing war, taunting fate to come out wherever you are. Fear scorching hope like eucalyptus, leaving bodies to burn in the wake of paradise already forgotten, like last year's newspaper becomes kindling for the house that will become our tomb. And we daydream of past days before our time when cows grazed on the roof of the Ansonia, wondering how the hell did we get here? Before the Bronx burned, before airplanes and luxury condos changed the sky, and Bowery became a supreme shopping destination for rats, lining up next to the Mission with dollar signs screaming a rainbow, hell yes. And we wonder as we stare into screens, how the hell did we get here? Scrolling past burnt bodies and kids in cages, we order another Aperol Spritz despite the mockery of the times. And time will hold us in contempt for the future we are leaving behind, carrying signs and signing petitions, voices unheard by politicians. I'm sorry we couldn't do more, but there was more we could have done, and now it's unsustainable. We're drowning in our own bullshit. The world is going up in smoke, but hindsight is always 2020. Maybe something a little bit more peaceful. There was a year 2021. Sorry, I'm trying to find it. Oh, it was 2022, and that year was Niet Zero was the theme. And usually I write something inspired by the theme. This year, actually, I did it the opposite and found something that I had written and wanted to contribute this instead. Also with a visual. Sometimes I'm writing a poem for the journal. Sometimes it's an image, an artwork. But this was both. And I wrote this one in Italian, and then I translated it into English, but in the interest of time, I'm just going to read the English one. That's okay. At the beginning of summer, I dreamt of green like a phosphorescent memory, hands in front of my eyes, mouth full of words unexpected, as water tasting of sea urchins, ink losing its meaning with each letter, falling on the pavement like rain, words caught like chains of glass, lucid and shameless as nights arrive and souvenirs become reflections of tomorrow. And I think I'll finish with the poem that is in the current issue of 2025. With the theme is ethics cleansing, and my poem is Break the Symphony of Silence. Before raptors of the rapture devour democracy on live TV, rabbit ear antennas transmitting snow as carrion commandos pick clean the country disemboweled by clowns, caring more for the cost of living than life itself, screaming, make this place great again. Teeth crimson from crunching grenades of greed, feeding on lies like quicklime, magically erasing history before our eyes, and those of future generations look back horrified at our silence, morals bleached by blind distractions of dopamine, paralysis of overwhelm and ignorance of bliss, brains washed and hung out to dry. Stand up, they cry, before it's too late for us all. Get out on the street and make some noise. And we all have to get out on the street and make more noise. And Peter and Kat, I loved being at the No Kings March with you this year. We all have to get out there some more. So thank you.
Kings. Yeah. That's right. That was a good day. We were all together up there. A lot of people.
It was great hearing the series of poems that you wrote over the course of years in this journal. It's just really fabulous to hear your work.
We'll be giving this away to after the last reader. And thank you so much for joining us, Martina. We'll get together at the end. And now, please welcome
our last
George
reader,
Wallace. We published 2 of his books, and he's now a poet only. He's done with his teaching, which is a sad thing for the field of education. But always in our Meant Not To, and at our Bukowski reading. So, George Wallace.
Okay. I'm trying out this new microphone, so how's it sound?
Good.
Yeah, good. I love Three Rooms Press. Thank you guys for putting this together. So many good things you do. including this. It just shows the breadth of voices and experiences that you bring to the table. So thank you for all the good work you do. I have a single poem I'm going to read to you at the 2-hour mark. It's actually a wish list to Santa Claus. Although when you published it in this most recent matinee, it was called Immigration Song. I wish Jesus was an American. I wish beer was free. I wish immigration agents would leave us alone. No ice at the back door, no ice in the bathroom mirror, no ice in the manger, no red-hatted parrot president who should go fuck himself in his little Florida money mansion. I wish the informers would stop informing. I wish America would let Americans be. Leave it to those of us who earn our little pay in the home of the free, land of the minimum wage. No lettuce fields rotting, no automotive death factories, no rusted out or no rain. I wish Jesus was real. I wish Jesus was American. I wish the kitchens and the grub holes and the grocery aisles and the pickup trucks and the pimps and johns and seafood depots and the gasoline pumps would open their arms and let their love pour out like they open up their wallets and their big fat mouths and let greed roll out and take us all in, not swallow us whole and spit us out. No bad neighbors, no deportation jets, no Bible-thumping bureaucrats, no ICE agents over the left shoulder, no cop car to get in the way, no children lying on cold concrete in a detention center. Lonely, angry, dark, afraid. I wish Jesus was American. I wish Jesus was real. I wish freedom was an ocean of brotherhood that would cradle you and me. Wash all the hate away. Thank you.
Your wish is my command. Yeah,
we're going to give this book away. Thank you, George, for reading from it, and everybody else who's involved. This is our labor of love, and we do have a new theme for the starts on January 1st, submission period, January 1st through March 15th, meant not 20. And the new theme, this theme is ethics cleansing, as we've heard, but the new theme is impropaganda. And we're going to have a lot of stuff for that because that's our next year. We got to get off this belief in anything. You know, who cares what,
What's the subtitle?
Without truth, there is no need for disapproval or approval. You know, I mean, you're like, the approval rating, the disapproval. This is all bullshit. That's not where we're going to live. We got to live with the rest of the world.
So who's our winner?
The winner of this book will be Mark Glista. If he's still out there, Mark, we're going to send you this to Maine, okay?
Mark,
we do have your address.
All right.
Okay, so everybody, we've given away 10 books. That's a pretty good show. We've gone for 2 hours, and we've heard some of the best writers of our day. With we had Christopher Chambers with Streetwhys, Amanda Eisenberg with People Are Talking. We have Bibbe Hansen with her factory poems, and Karen Hildebrand, our dear friend, Matthew Hupert, Nancy Kurshan with the Levitating the Pentagon and other uplifting stories coming out in March. We've got David Lawton, Patricia Leonard, Angelica Page, who was here with the story of her mom, A Delicious Life. What a beautiful start to the show that was. And Martina Salisbury and Aram Saroyan, thank you. His new book, Before I Forget. And George Wallace, thank you, everybody. And Peter Karloftis, Cat George, we're here.
Thank you.
We're going to bring everybody up and say goodnight. And then we can stay on for a few minutes after we go unlive.
Okay.
So can we get everybody up here?
I hope so.
Take yourselves off mute, and we'll give a big goodbye to everybody, and we'll go unlive. Yay! Thank you all for sticking around, a lot of you.
Thank you.